Just trying to help you relax, sis, Emma said, smirking as she leaned against the hospital doorway. You're always so wound up with your anxiety. I thought mixing in some sleeping pills would help you chill out. My name is Sophie Walker and I was lying in the ICU after what the doctors initially thought was an accidental overdose. The toxicology report in my hand told a very different story. You could have killed me, I whispered, my voice weak from having my stomach pumped. The words on the report blurred as tears filled my eyes. Traces of prescription sleep medication were found mixed with my regular anxiety medication. Don't be so dramatic, Emma rolled her eyes. I only put a few pills in. Besides, you're fine now, aren't you? Fine. I had collapsed during an important presentation at work in front of my entire team and our biggest client. My heart had nearly stopped. The paramedic said that if it had been 5 more minutes I wouldn't have made it. But to Emma that was fine. Our father appeared behind her, his face ashen as he read the report over my shoulder. Emma, what have you done? Dad, please, she scoffed. Sophie's always complaining about her anxiety. I was just trying to be a good sister. You know how important family is to you. Family. That word had become a weapon ever since my father married Emma's mother 3 years ago. Every manipulation, every accident, every cruel prank was excused because after all we were family. The monitor beside my bed beeped as my heart rate increased. Dr. Torres stepped into the room, her expression grim as she took in the scene. Mr. Walker, we need to discuss the toxicology results, she said firmly. The combination of medications found in your daughter's system wasn't accidental. Someone deliberately tampered with her prescription. Emma's smirk faltered slightly. It was just a few sleeping pills. Sophie's always so stressed about everything. I thought I was helping. I think you thought wrong, Dr. Torres said sharply. Mixing sleeping medication with anxiety medication could have caused respiratory failure. Ms. Walker could have died. My father sank into the chair beside my bed, the report trembling in his hands. For 3 years he had dismissed my concerns about Emma's behavior. She's just trying to bond, he'd say. Give her a chance. The chances had started small. Emma accidentally deleting important files from my laptop, spilling coffee on my work documents, or rescheduling my appointments without telling me. But this was different. This was calculated. The police will want to speak with you, Dr. Torres continued, checking my vitals. Tampering with prescription medication is a serious crime. Emma's voice rose an octave. Daddy, you can't let them involve the police. I was just trying to help. For the first time I saw real fear in her eyes. Not fear for me but fear for herself. The perfect stepdaughter facade was cracking. You could have killed your sister, my father said quietly, still staring at the report. Stepsister, Emma corrected automatically, then seemed to realize her mistake as our father's head snapped up. The silence in the room was deafening. 3 years of Emma playing the devoted daughter, and in one moment of panic she revealed her true feelings. I think you should wait outside while I speak with the doctor, my father said slowly. But, Daddy, Emma protested. As she stormed out, I caught a glimpse of something dark in her expression, the same look I'd seen countless times before when things didn't go her way. But this time there was no hiding behind family loyalty. The toxicology report told a story no manipulation could change. Dr. Torres began explaining the details of what they'd found in my system, but my mind was already racing. For the first time since my father's marriage, I had concrete proof of Emma's malice. The question was, what would I do with it? The police interview took place the next morning. Detective Sarah Martinez sat beside my hospital bed, notebook open as I recounted 3 years of escalating incidents. Miss Walker, she interrupted gently, why didn't you report any of these previous incidents? I glanced at my father standing by the window looking years older than he had just days ago. They seemed minor in comparison and Emma always had an excuse. She was just trying to help, or it was just a misunderstanding. And your father? Detective Martinez asked, noting my glance. He wanted us to be a family, I said quietly. After Mom died he was desperate for that perfect family dynamic again. Emma and her mother seemed to provide that. The detective nodded, reviewing her notes and the incident with my medication. I keep my anxiety medication in my bathroom cabinet, I continued. Last week I noticed the pills looked slightly different but I thought maybe the pharmacy had changed manufacturers. It's happened before. You should have told me, my father interjected, his voice rough with emotion. Would you have believed me? I asked, meeting his eyes. You didn't believe me about the deleted presentation files, the misplaced client contracts, or the mysterious cancellations of my therapy appointments. His silence was answer enough. Detective Martinez cleared her throat. We've obtained security footage from your apartment building showing Emma entering your unit last Tuesday evening when you were at your late meeting. This was news to me. He has a key. Yes, my father admitted. For emergencies. Well, Detective Martinez continued, the footage shows her entering at 7:43 p.m. and leaving at 7:51 p.m. The pharmacy confirmed your prescription was filled that morning. The timeline fits with when you started noticing the different pills. A knock at the door interrupted us. Dr. Torres entered with another report. We've completed the full analysis, she said, handing it to my father. Analysis, Dr. Torres announced as she stepped into the room. The sleeping medication mixed into your prescription was a powerful sedative, far stronger than any over-the-counter sleep aid. We're trying to trace where it came from. I can help with that, my father said quietly. Carol, Emma's mother, has a prescription for sleeping pills. She's had trouble sleeping since her first husband died. Detective Martinez made a note. We'll need to speak with Mrs. Walker about securing her medication. Ex-Mrs. Walker, my father corrected. The divorce papers were filed this morning. I stared at him in shock. He'd been so in love with Carol, so convinced that she and Emma were the answer to his loneliness after Mom died. Sophie, he continued, moving to my bedside, I've been a fool. I was so focused on building this new perfect family that I couldn't see what was happening to the family I already had. Before I could respond, a commotion erupted in the hallway. Emma's shrill voice echoed off the walls. You can't do this. I live here. That's my sister's room. Carol's voice followed, strained with panic. Emma, please. We need to leave. The restraining order. Restraining order? Emma appeared in my doorway, her face flushed with rage. You filed a restraining order against me? Your own sister. Stepsister. I echoed her words from yesterday. Remember. Detective Martinez stood, positioning herself between Emma and my bed. Miss Reynolds, you were informed not to approach this floor. We can add violation of a restraining order to the existing charges. Charges? Emma's voice pitched higher. Daddy, tell them. Tell them I was helping. Sophie's always been jealous of me, always trying to make me look bad. 6 months after the incident, I sat in the courthouse and watched Emma plead guilty to charges of aggravated assault and medication tampering. The attempted murder charge had been reduced as part of a plea deal that included mandatory psychiatric evaluation and treatment. The defendant will serve 3 years in state prison, the judge announced, followed by 5 years of supervised probation. Emma stood emotionless, a far cry from the perfectly poised stepdaughter she once pretended to be. Her mother, Carol, sat in the back row, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. The divorce from my father had been finalized 2 months earlier. As we left the courthouse, reporters swarmed us. Emma's case had gained national attention, highlighting the often ignored dangers of prescription medication tampering. My father stepped in front of me, shielding me from the cameras. My daughter needs privacy to heal, he said firmly. We have no comment. Healing had been a complicated journey. The physical recovery was straightforward. The doctors had caught the medication interaction in time. The emotional healing, however, was ongoing. I'd begun seeing a new therapist, Dr. Reynolds, who specialized in family trauma. One session changed everything. Your anxiety wasn't the problem, she told me gently. It was Emma's excuse. People like her target what they perceive as weakness, but really they're revealing their own insecurities. Those words stuck with me, especially as I remembered how many times Emma weaponized my anxiety, making me doubt my own reality. Back home, my father made changes too. He installed a state-of-the-art security system and placed my medication in a biometric safe. Some might call it paranoid, but we had learned the hard way about trust. I got rid of the guest room furniture, he told me over dinner one evening. Carol's been asking to collect it, but I think it's better to make a clean break. I nodded. That furniture represented his desperate attempt at building a new family at the expense of the one he already had. I found something while clearing it out, he continued, pulling out a familiar photo album. Remember these? The album was filled with pictures from before Mom died. Camping trips, birthday parties, simple moments of genuine happiness. We were enough, he said softly, touching a photo of Mom. I forgot that in my rush to replace what we'd lost. I'm sorry, Sophie. We're still enough, Dad, I replied, reaching for his hand. My recovery became more than surviving the incident. It became about reclaiming my voice. I started speaking at support groups for people who had experienced family betrayal. My story resonated with so many who had endured similar manipulation. Emma wrote a letter from prison, part of her mandatory therapy program. It was full of excuses thinly disguised as apologies. I never meant to hurt you. I just wanted Dad to see me as the better daughter. I didn't respond. Some relationships aren't meant to be salvaged. Work became my sanctuary. My team, who had witnessed my collapse, welcomed me back with compassion. The client, impressed by the professionalism of our company, signed a long-term contract. You know, my boss told me during my first week back, the presentation you were giving before everything happened? The client wants to see it whenever you're ready. I was ready. More than ready. Emma had tried to silence me, to make me disappear, but she had only made me stronger. 1 year after the incident, I stood before that same client, delivering the presentation that had been interrupted by my collapse. My hands were steady, my voice clear. Yes, I still had anxiety, but I no longer saw it as a weakness waiting to be exploited. My father sat in the back of the conference room, beaming with pride. We had been through hell, but we'd emerged stronger, wiser, and more appreciative of the family we had, just the two of us. That evening at our favorite restaurant, my father raised his glass. To survival, he said, and to never letting anyone tamper with our lives again. I raised my glass. To real family, the kind that protects instead of poisons. The toxicology report that exposed Emma's true nature now sat somewhere in a police archive. But its impact lived on, in the lessons we learned about trust, boundaries, and rebuilding after betrayal. Sometimes the most toxic people come disguised as family. But real family, true family, helps you heal, not hurt. Emma had tried to break me. Instead, she broke the illusion. And in its place, my father and I built something stronger. Truth. Loyalty. Enough. Earlier, before she was escorted away, my father's voice had cracked like thunder. You nearly killed your sister. The security footage. The toxicology reports. Your own admission. It's over, Emma. No more excuses. Emma's face twisted, the mask shattering completely. Fine, she hissed. She's always been in the way anyway. Ever since Mom and I moved in, it's been poor Sophie, this, and be careful of Sophie's anxiety, that. I just wanted her to disappear for a while. Well, Detective Martinez replied calmly, you may get your wish. Attempted murder usually involves disappearing for quite a while, into a prison cell. As security escorted Emma and Carol from the floor, I watched my father sink back into his chair, his head in his hands. The perfect family he tried so hard to build had been a facade, and it had nearly cost him the daughter he already had. Dr. Torres adjusted my foreline, my real, untampered medication. My father looked broken. Dad, I said softly, reaching for his hand. It's not your fault. His eyes were wet. I should have seen it. I should have believed you. Your mother would be so disappointed. Mom would want us to heal, I said. Both of us. He squeezed my hand, and for the first time in 3 years I felt like I had my father back. Sometimes you have to almost lose everything to realize what was worth saving all along.